Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NURAISYAH Nadidah binti ROSMIDI, matric number 1200139. So now I would like to present about introduction of my assignment groups. Okay, we have an interview with counselor, which is Counselor AADK on 3 June 2022, which is on Friday. Our group interviewed an AADK counselor to explain a little bit about drugs, which is about marijuana. There were a number of questions we asked the counselor, and among them were the symptoms when a person abuses drugs, what are the ways to treat individuals who are addicted to marijuana, techniques and theories used in helping clients, the extent to which the theories and techniques are effective in helping the client, how does the client respond to the theories and techniques used, and the last one is whether the religious approach is also used in the session with the client. Okay. Moreover, this interview session was conducted through Google Meet, which lasted for 45 minutes. And in addition, the session was started at 2 p.m., attended by all group members, and this session was led by our group leader, who is NURAISYAH binti YAACOB. And Alhamdulillah, this interview session was ended well, and the counselor was so friendly, and all of our question was answered well by the counselor.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm Nurhanis YAACOB, matric number 1200105. Alright, I want to talk about definition of drug abuse. What is drug abuse actually? Drug abuse is the excessive, maladaptive or addictive use of drugs for non-medical purpose despite social, psychological and physical problems that may arise from such use. Abuse substances include psychotropic agents, substance that affect the user's mental states and are used to produce change in mood, feeling, and perception. Furthermore, agents such as anabolic steroids, which are used by some athletes to accelerate muscular development and increase strength and can cause heart disease, liver damage, and other physical problems. Alright, next I want to talk about marijuana. Marijuana actually comes from the leaf and flowering tops of the heat plants. We call that cannabis sativa, which grow in mild climates throughout the world. Marijuana consists chiefly of dry green leaf, the colloquial name grass. It is ordinarily smoked in the form of cigarettes or pipe. Although marijuana can be considered a mild hallucinogen, of the more than 500 chemicals in marijuana, tetrahydrocannabinol, known as THC, is responsible for many of the drug psychotropic with its mild-altering effects.
Okay, now let's move on to the symptoms of marijuana abuse. There are many symptoms of marijuana abuse. Okay, one of them is bloodshot eyes, increased appetite, lack of motivation, weight gain, nervous or paranoid behavior, impaired coordination, slurred reaction time. Besides that, the symptoms of marijuana abuse are dry mouth, memory impairment, anxiety, impaired judgment, distorted perception, relaxed state, sleepiness, feeling high or euphoric.
Assalamualaikum, my name is SYAZWANIE binti Muhammad ROZI, my matric number 1200132. Next, I will present about how to treat marijuana abuse. Actually, there are a couple of different treatment options for people with marijuana abuse. To treat individuals involved in marijuana abuse, therapists recommend standard treatment involving medication, counseling, and therapy. As for the medication treatment, marijuana abuse doesn't have, or what can I say, at this time, there are no specific medication available to treat individuals involved in marijuana abuse. Because of that, we will look into counseling and therapeutic treatment. We can treat marijuana abuse by using biopsychosocial approach. What is biopsychosocial approach? The biopsychosocial approach, or BPS, is an approach that combines the interaction between biological, psychological, and social factors to help determine why an individual is experiencing marijuana abuse. Based on biological factor, it said that people may involve in addiction because of their genetic or family background history. While in psychological factor, it said that people may start getting involved with marijuana abuse because they think marijuana helps them feel more relaxed and less depressed. And if we look at social factor, it said that people may begin to get involved with marijuana abuse because of social networks or cultural norms or cultural norms that are considered normal. The biopsychosocial approach accept the fact that every person's pathway to addiction is different. What they experience, why they do it, and how they get better is all different. This model takes that into consideration and is designed to address each person's need to increase the potential for lifelong recovery. Another treatment that we can use to treat marijuana abuse is by using rational emotive behavior therapy, REBT. REBT works to help clients challenge, dispute, and question negative emotions, behavior, and thoughts. This theory is used to help individuals involved in marijuana abuse to familiarize themselves with thinking and acting rationally by using ABCD model. A is represent the activating event, B is the belief that an individual holds about activating event, C is the consequences of the belief, and D is disputing irrational belief.
Before we go to the next slide, I will introduce myself first. My name is NURHANIS binti MAZNI and my matrix number is 12000104. Alright, we will go to the next slide, which is Islamic perspective about the substance abuse. Well, I will go through to the explanation, which is Islamic divine law to seek and protect the faith, which is belief in one God, to protect life, which is abortion, suicides, homicides, is against the divine law of Islamic, and to protect their property, about the ownerships of the property, and the mind, which is protect against the interference. Well, in other words, which is Islam forbid all the use of the potentially harmful substances in the body, which is under the influence of drugs. Humans also lose their ability to make decisions and protect their bodies or honor, which is Islam will against all the things like that. And then we will go to the next slide or topic, which is Islamic concept in helping someone who suffers in substance abuse. Well, in this slide we have three main points, which is Islam's prohibitions itself. The second one is prayer, and the third one is praying and fasting. So we will go to the first point, which is Islam's prohibitions. Islam prohibitions also prohibits the wrongdoing from the start and not at the end, which is Islam will close all the paths to the wrongdoing in the beginning. Alright, so Islam not only illicit drugs prohibited, but Islam also prohibit keeping the drugs, selling the drugs, also making the drugs. It also the same context of the hadith, which is Prophet Muhammad SAW prohibit drinking wine also making the wine and also keeping it, or even growing the grapes, which is in the perspective of the substance abuse marijuana. We also prohibit in marijuana growing the plants or the marijuana plantation. Alright, so there are two ayat that are concluded in the Islamic prohibitions, which is Surah An-Nisa and Surah Al-Ma'idah, which is Ya ayyuhalladzina amanu la taqrabus salah wa antum suqara hatta ta'lamuna ma taqulun. And another ayat is Ya ayyuhalladzina amanu innamal khamru wal maisir wal ansabu wal azlamu rijsun min amal syayatin min amal syaitani fajtanibuhu la'allakum tuflihun. Alright, we will go to the second point, which is prayer. Prayer is also in one of the pillars of Islam, and it also serves to strengthen the soul, and also the fasting have the same focuses, which is beneficial in disciplining the soul. In the ayat Atlu ma uhiya ilayka minal kitabi wa aqimis salah Inna salata tanha 'anil fahsya'i wal munkar wala zikrullahi akbar wallahu ya'lamu ma tasna'un, which is I will emphasize in the fahsya'i wal munkar, which is inna salati tanha 'anil fahsya'i wal munkar, which generally means salah prayer will help the soul to keep themselves from something that will against their body or against their will harmful their bodies and mind, also in property. And we will go to the next point, which is fasting. Fasting is universally recognized as means of developing self-control, and in Islam it's also growing closer to the God. And in this ayah, Ya ayyuhalladzina amanu kutiba alaykumus siyam kama kutiba alal ladzina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. Overall, prayers and fasting have the same focus, which is to have a closer relationship with God, which is in Islamic perspective we actually focus to the connecting one souls with the God, because if the souls have the good connection with God, they tend to refuse all the intoxicants, including taking drugs. Alright, and also in our interview with the counselor, they also have Islamic approach, which is they also use the module of Isra. In the module of Isra, they have this one content, which is in the client will take salat taubah and have the bath in what we call in as salat mandi taubat and something like that. It actually contains Islamic concept in it, and the counselor also said that Islamic perspectives actually works, and most of the clients have a good response and have a positive feedbacks, and they tend to be repent and tend to be a good person after the module of Isra. And that's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
So the last one is conclusion for this assignment. Okay, the conclusion that can be drawn from this interpretation is that marijuana has a very dangerous effect on those who are already addicted. There were so many symptoms and bad effect to those who addicted with it. And in addition, we as sane human beings can distinguish between good and bad should avoid approaching this dirty thing. This is because it harms it harms oneself too much. It is clear from what the ADK counselor has shared that marijuana is very bad for every human being who is addicted to it. Last but not least, stay away from marijuana and love yourself. Thank you.